So helicopters can also be used for search and rescue. That is the main topic for operation of helicopters in PST. All are there? How many? Only 17 are present. What about the others? Some are joining now. Please call them if you have a telephone, somebody. Okay. Because once I write the mail that these people were absent, then you will not be allowed to sit for the exit exam. Okay. For whatever reason, whether it is for want of connection or want of this thing. Once I write that mail, and I'm already noting down who all are absent for whatever reasons, and shortly I'm going to write a mail, the principal, that these people were absent, not to give you certificates. Then you have to do everything on your own. Please warn them. Okay?
Yes, sir.
You have to pay for it and do it on your own. So please read helicopter operations. Once you read right up to 10, then you tell me, then I'll scroll it further. Okay? So I'll present it to you now.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, please start recording, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes,
Sir, the recording is not on.
recording. Okay, right up to 10. Please ask questions if you don't understand any of the points. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Finish.
Done, sir.
Done? Everybody finished? Yes, GME 31. What is your name? GME 31. What's your name?
Sir, Sobin Prince.
Huh?
Sobin Prince.
Shobin. Shobin, what do you mean by explain to the DNS cadets? What do you mean by fireman under pressure?
Can you please repeat the question, sir? Fire?
Fireman under pressure. Point number 11. You're an engineer, that's why I'm asking you this question. Fireman under pressure. Yes? Can you explain? If you can't, please don't waste time. You tell me I can't.
Sir, I have a little bit confusion, sir.
Okay. Yes, anybody, any other GME? GME 22. GME 22. See, if you are in confusion, you should ask me. Correct? Yes, GME 22. What do you mean by fireman under pressure?
Not sure, but sir, may be firefighters are facing some issues.
Wrong. Wrong. Yes. Anybody else can tell me? GME 21. Fireman under pressure means, see, the fireman, what is the fireman? Fireman is a pipeline, okay, that supplies water for fighting a fire. Okay? Fireman is a pipeline that is exclusively used, means supposed to be exclusively used for fighting a fire. Okay? It can be used for other things also, like washing decks and all those things. We can use that also. Okay? But at the time of fire, a fire pump is started and the fire line is pressurized. That means there will be water under pressure inside the line. Okay? Understood? Water
Yes,
under
sir.
pressure inside the line. If you connect a fire hose to it, then you can fight a fire with that. Correct? So fireman under pressure means the pump should be started, okay, and kept under pressure. There should be pressure in the line, so that instantly, as soon as you open the hydrant, water will start coming out. It is not that when we ask for the fire line or fire in the or water in the fire line, then they will start the pump, they'll line up, they will do this thing. It might take about 10-15 minutes to start. So fireman under pressure means instantly you should get water. Okay? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Fireman should be pressurized so that as soon as you open the hydrant, water comes out at a force. That means fireman under pressure. Okay? Eldo Thomas, are you there?
Yes, sir.
What is a Jemmy bar? What is a Jemmy bar?
Give me back.
Point number 16.
Sir,
Then did you ask me what I told you that
to ask, sir.
if you don't understand anything, you should ask me. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you did ask.
Sir, is it a like a crowbar?
You disobeyed orders. Yes,
Sir, is it a type of crowbar?
yes, it is a type of crowbar. Yes, yes. but it is a little bent, you know. It is a little bent. Crowbar is straight, okay? But this one is little bent like that and like that, okay? And it has got something like this in the end, okay? So that you can grip something like that and take out a nail or something like that. Understood? It's called a jemmy bar, okay? I don't know if you Google, you will come to know what is a jemmy bar. Why I'm asking, see, I don't want to unnecessarily blame you all for all this. But what I'm asking you is, if you have any doubt, you should ask me and put me in a corner. Maybe I'll also not know what is a jemmy bar, you know. Okay? Right? I don't mind going into a corner, no problem. Right? Yes, what is ICS? Point number 20. Anybody knows what is ICS?
Sir, Chamber of Shipping International.
International Chamber of Shipping. Very good. Very good.
Yes, sir.
That is International Chamber of Shipping keeps giving various guidelines and circulars and other things to the shipping community regarding the latest happenings or latest rules and regulations, or if any incident has taken place, they will give you how that incident take place and how it could be avoided and all those things.
Yes,
okay?
sir.
So they do give they have given a lot of things about a guide to helicopter ship operations. Okay, so you can Google them and you can read those. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. So please make it a habit when you go on the ship. Also, you make it a habit. If you don't understand anything, you should ask. Sometimes it can save your life. Yes. There are many things new to you. So it can save life, right? So it's important. Sometimes people think that what is wrong here if I don't do this, or what is wrong if I don't do this. Okay, right? Sometimes some task is given to you and you feel it is very a stupid task to do. Okay, but in the ship, let me tell you, as a cadet, I realized many things were quite stupid, but afterwards I realized that those are very important. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'll give you an example. When I was a cadet, I was told to go 6 o'clock in the morning, and there are big ventilators like this, you know, cowl ventilators. I think cadets I have already told. I'm telling for the GME boys. Okay, so these ventilators that they allow fresh air to come inside. Okay, so every day morning I was told turn them 15 degrees to port. So I used to turn them 15 degrees to port and come. So there are about 10 ventilators on deck, and all 10 I had to turn them 15 degrees to port and come. Okay, and other 10 I was told put them 15 degrees to starboard quarter. Put them 15 degrees to starboard quarter. So those 20 ventilators every day I used to go in the morning, do that, and every day evening I had to turn them back. So I was feeling really, what a stupid thing to make me do. Just to make me do some work, they are making me do this. Okay. Then I realized that the wind direction is changing every day morning and changing every day evening. That is why I am doing all this. Okay. Yes, it was very important for the cargo because we are carrying onions and potatoes as cargo, and they required ventilation. Right? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and sometimes some repetitive work will be there, you know. For example, I was told that there was one lever, you know. You say count till 10 and then push it forward. Then after counted 10, push it backward. I said, why I should do it? No, there's no time for explanation. Go and keep doing it. For the next half an hour, I was putting that lever forward and putting that lever after, you know. Nothing else I was doing. So I was feeling stupid that why I should keep turning a lever here and there. Then afterwards, I realized there was some hydraulic testing going on. So for hydraulic testing, they were testing it one way and testing it the other way. And then only they wanted to, but they didn't have time to explain to me. So I was just stupidly doing this for every 10 counts, So things like that might sound stupid, but it is important to do. Correct? Everybody
Yes, sir.
agree? Yes? 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 Sounding stupid to you, these tasks that I was doing, or you are thinking, no, it is important task? Yes?
No task is stupid, sir.
But yes, I was obeying orders, but doesn't it sound stupid to you sometimes? Sometimes if I tell you something, it sounds stupid. I am a bachelor of engineering, and they are making me do this. Yes? Yes? Why not? Yes? Aja. In another place, one fellow, he was putting the hose on one place, on the hatch cover. In the hatch cover, we are putting the hoses, okay? And hoses were being put with the hose, water was being put at the pressure. So I was told to take a hammer and tap at the place he is putting the hose. Now tell me why I was told to tap at the place where the hose is being put, or where water is put under pressure. Can anybody tell me? I have to, wherever the water was being put, I was supposed to tap on that place with the hammer.
Sir, to check leakage.
Yeah. So how will the tapping of the hammer check the leakage? Yes. Yes, they were hosing down the hatch cover to check leakage. Correct. But why to tap with the hammer? Yes.
Sir, yesterday I was studying about boiler hydraulic testing.
Okay.
There was a topic where while doing hydraulic testing, the joints and where the welding is done, over there tapping has to be done so that we can identify leaks and all those things. So that idea I used over here.
That tapping is for a different reason. What I am telling you is for a different reason. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Whenever we are testing for hydraulic high pressure leaks and all those things, you tap on the lines. So if the welding is or the brazing, generally in hydraulic lines we don't do welding, we do brazing, because these lines are made up of other material. Sometimes copper and other brass materials are used. So we do to check the brazing. If you give a light tap on the hammer, then it vibrates, and then this thing becomes loose. The welding or brazing becomes loose, and from there it will start leaking. So that time you can repair it. Okay. Yes. Okay. And sometimes oil gets stuck for other reasons also. And if there is some dirt or something in the line, okay, and while tapping that line, that dirt will get dislodged from there and it will go away. So that then you will start getting the full pressure, whatever you want on the hydraulic line. Correct? Agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, but what I'm telling you is for a different reason. The reason is there is somebody inside the hold. He should know where I'm putting the water. Okay? He should know where I'm putting the water. Because if I put water at one place and he is looking at another place, then he'll not know where it is leaking. Okay? So he will come and stand at the exact point where the tapping is going on, so that he knows that now the water is being put at that place, so that he can check for leaks. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Because from inside he will not know where the water is being put. Correct? So the tapping of the hammer will indicate to him at which place the water is being put. So when I was doing it, I was feeling a little stupid. Why I'm just given a job just to go and tap the hammer, Yeah. Okay, I don't know about you. You're all smart people. Yes, I was not that smart. Yes. Okay.
So yes, sir. So in short, most of the things will be feel stupid, but
Yes.
there's
So
a strong reason behind it. So
yes.
in case
So
even the seniors are not able to tell us or
sometimes they'll not tell you, or they will laugh at you, or you don't know, you don't even know this. So you feel more stupid, you know.
Yes, yes, sir.
They don't want to tell you, you know, because they have been doing it for so long, they think it's a very simple matter, but they don't understand a newcomer is a newcomer, you know. He will not know this. Okay. All the lines, all the lines are painted in different colors. You'll wonder why these rainbow colors have been used for all the pipelines. Then afterwards only you realize that they want to identify which line is carrying what from outside. So that's why they are painted in different colors. Correct, no?
Yes, sir.
I used to think they are just painted for aesthetic purpose to make it look very good. You know, all different pipelines are different colors. Yeah, especially in the engine room, I see, but all color lines painted. You know, very nice, looking very nice. Okay, it is not for looking nice. It is for identifying what each pipeline is carrying. Correct, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do a little bit of video on this helicopter operations. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
you
sir.
read all of them. All of you read all of them.
Yes, sir.
I hope you have understood. I asked only a few questions, but you can still ask questions because it's still in front of you. By the time I look at a good video for you. Okay. Please watch carefully. Okay. I will show it to you. 1 minute. Can you see the video?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll start it. Okay. So you watch the video, then we will have a question answer session. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear the sound?
Yes, sir.
I'm putting off my microphone, but you can interrupt anytime.
For most seafarers, the closest they will come to a helicopter is during an emergency. Dramatic scenes like these, though, are rare. But there are many occasions when helicopters are used on routine operations. 24 hours a day. Often these tasks involve journeys to and from ships, oil and gas platforms and other offshore installations. Moving cargo and personnel quickly and efficiently. Whatever the mission, tried and tested working practices ensure its safety and success, time after time. This three-part video and the accompanying booklet covers basic helicopter safety, helideck, and some of the more common operational and emergency procedures. It will show you what happens and what to do during helicopter operations at sea. Despite their excellent safety record, helicopters are inherently dangerous machines. This section of the video looks at the precautions you must take before you go on board and what you can expect to happen during your journey. First, your own responsibilities. Unless you are taking professional equipment, you must not carry with you firearms, alcohol or drugs, acids or corrosives, explosives, gas bottles, poisons, radioactive materials, flammable liquids or materials, or magnetic materials. Unlike fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters have main and tail rotors which sweep a wide area around the aircraft and create strong and unpredictable gusts of air. If a ground marshal or marshals are present, always report to them first. They will be standing in a safe position and will instruct you on the route to be taken to your seat on the aircraft. But many airfields, platforms or ships has how to enter a helicopter. So the helicopter always keep well outside the arc of the main rotor disc and stay well away from the rear of the aircraft, because the arc of the tail rotor, which spins vertically, is often nearer the ground than the main horizontal rotor or rotors. Another reason why you should not approach a helicopter from the rear is that no one on the flight deck can see you. Come out to a position 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock of the front of the aircraft. Never smoke while preparing to board. Approach area in front of the turn. Make the kit or co-pilot fully aware. Indicate that you wish to approach and secure any clothing or equipment you're carrying. Don't move until you receive a signal. Something else may be going on that you're unaware of, and the crew may not be ready to receive you. When you're cleared to approach, do so at right angles to the fuselage and duck down as you walk under the main rotor. Go straight, don't wander around. Then, when boarding, approach the air stair door, also at right angles to the fuselage. Helicopters usually face into the wind, and any exhaust gases should be blown away to the rear. However, gusting wind may blow hot exhaust gases around you as you approach, so be prepared. Some helicopters are fitted with a high-frequency radio. This system requires a set of aerial wires on the outside of the aircraft. If an HF radio transmission is made while the aircraft is on the ground and you are near the aerial, or operate a mobile phone or radio close to it, you risk receiving serious burns. Mobile phones should be switched off. Many aircraft nowadays have navigational equipment controlled by computers, and mobile phones can affect these systems. Turbulence called downwash, sometimes known as downdraft. Never underestimate the force of downwash, particularly in still conditions when there is no wind. It can be hard to breathe. Before a helicopter puts down, the landing or winching objects that might be blown around by downwash. These should be cleared away or lashed down to avoid them damaging the helicopter or injuring personnel. Depending on the number of passengers, there will be an appropriate crew and equipment to match. The size and role of the aircraft will dictate its equipment fit. Emergency services helicopters may, for example, carry stretchers and mobile resuscitation equipment. On reaching the air stair door, you'll be beckoned into the aircraft by a member of the crew and shown your seat. Don't push forward when boarding or disembarking, and always obey the cabin signs. There is a set emergency procedure for your type of aircraft, and you'll be advised of this before takeoff. The emergency exits will be pointed out, and the seatbelt demonstrated to you. You should never leave the seat unless you're asked to do so. In the unlikely event of an emergency, the crew will make you aware of the situation. Immediately tighten your seatbelt. Stay calm. Loose articles should be placed under your feet. Remove spectacles, headsets, and any other sharp objects. Before an impact, adopt the brace position as directed by the crew. Brace and wait until everything stops moving. All helicopters operating offshore have either an amphibious hull or fuselage, or are fitted with flotation gear, or both. Over water, the same principles apply. When the aircraft lands, again, wait until all movement has ceased and the engines and rotor blades have come to a standstill. Before an emergency landing, locate your seatbelt buckle with one hand and the direction of the nearest emergency exit with the other. Release your seatbelt. Emergency exits and jettison handles may illuminate to guide you towards them. Any window fitted with a red tag may be used as an emergency exit. Pull the tag towards you and the beading will come out. Push out the window. Do not inflate your life jacket until you're well clear of the aircraft. After ditching at sea, leave the aircraft and board the life raft. If on the ground, run upwind of the helicopter to a muster point, where the aircrew will marshal you together. Finally, one of the major safety considerations in helicopter operations is the all-up weight. Make sure you know the weight of each item, or let the crew weigh it, so they can calculate takeoff weight. By following these basic safety procedures, you will contribute towards a safe and uneventful flight. This section of the video is intended for ship's crews and helideck landing parties preparing for the arrival of a helicopter. Before any helicopter operation at sea, the landing site or winching area must be prepared. All loose articles must be stowed away, lashed down, or removed from the area. A purpose-built helideck will have a non-slip surface and the correct deck markings, a letter H or yellow spot, which should be clearly visible to the pilot. A windsock or flag may be available to indicate the wind direction. Helidecks should be inspected regularly to ensure that their condition meets the relevant safety standards. When the helicopter arrives, its crew will carry out a risk assessment of the landing site or winching area before attempting to land or carry out a transfer. The aircraft will come in almost overhead, rehearsing its run in and out of the target area. It will also do a power check.
Make present course is 154.
Any information the ship can provide for the helicopter will be most valuable. The role or pitch of the ship, for example, and also the weight that the particular landing area can carry. Point loading is the amount of pressure on a single small area of the deck's surface. A heavy aircraft will concentrate its weight, often up to 10 tons, onto 3 points, its undercarriage. Where there is no specified area, the chosen site must be free of loose articles and debris. Everything must be tied down or secured prior to winching or landing, including ship's derricks and other handling equipment. All gas venting should be stopped. Check the entry and exit direction for the helicopter and make sure there is a safe working area. In particular, watch out for radar scanners, aerials, stays, or any obstacle that infringes the rotor disc area. They should be struck, if possible, or their presence pointed out to the helicopter crew. Where possible, the ship's side rails should be lowered. Only essential personnel should enter the landing or winching area. Non-slip footwear and brightly coloured protective clothing must be worn. Protective headgear must be fastened with a chin strap to prevent it being blown off by the helicopter downwash. All helicopters generate static electricity, which can give a powerful shock, sometimes even fatal. As here, a static line is often used to earth the current to the ship's hull or the sea before the person or load touches the deck. Alternatively, one of the crew may use an insulated static rod for making direct contact with the load or hoist wire. If a potential flash hazard exists because of venting or escaping gases, the helicopter crew must be advised. Some shipping companies insist that a fire crew should be closed up, ready for action, whenever a helicopter operation is being carried out, and a rescue boat cleared for launching. The helicopter and the Coast Guard should be informed if the ship is carrying hazardous materials. At night, helicopter crews may be using night vision goggles and infrared equipment known as FLIR to enhance aircrew's view of the scene. FLIR is especially useful for identifying people in the water during a search and rescue operation. Although the working area may be floodlit, you must never shine a light directly at the helicopter. This could affect the pilot's night vision and put the helicopter, its crew, and the success of the entire mission at risk. And never fire rockets if a helicopter is nearby. Some vessels, such as floating storage units and semi-submersible drilling vessels, are fitted with ship movement indicators. They're required to pass on information on the vessel's pitch, roll and heave to assist the pilot, and to give him an idea of the angle of the deck he'll be landing on. In any winching or transfer operation, it's vital that no one leaves the aircraft or cargo is transferred until a plan has been agreed and everyone clearly understands what is about to happen. All members of the helicopter crew and the ship's landing party should wear ear protection to filter out engine and rotor noise and to ensure good all-round communication. Initial communication with the vessel or offshore installation will be established using one of the marine VHF radio channels, for example, channels 13 or 16. If it's not possible to link up immediately by radio, contact will be made using hand signals or by showing a blackboard. The helicopter will go alongside and the blackboard will be shown through the cargo door. While winching is going on, it's important to restrict other radio communications to urgent messages concerning the safety of the operation, a snagged wire, or a sudden necessity to change course, for example. During a rescue operation, personnel working below need to be aware of high noise levels when the helicopter is directly overhead. On-board communications may be severely restricted. Conversations should be short and to the point, using key words and expressions understood by everyone taking part. The aim is to convey as much information in as few words as possible.
Checking the windshield gear. Roger. Windshield gear is correct. He's on channel 0.
Above all, thorough preparation and clear communication between everyone taking part will ensure that helicopter operations at sea are completed safely and efficiently.
I'm going out the door.
The final section of this video looks at some of the standard and emergency procedures carried out during helicopter operations at sea. Aircraft operate most efficiently when they're facing into the wind, and in almost every type of helicopter, the captain sits on the right-hand side of the cockpit. So, almost all helicopter operations are carried out with the ship or offshore installation in a position about 1 to 2 o'clock to the right of the helicopter. During routine transfers, the ship will usually be requested to sail with the wind 40 degrees on the must be operation, and the helicopter must be warned of any deviations from the agreed course and speed. Transfers are frequently carried out at the stern of the vessel, giving the pilot good visual references on the mast or part of the superstructure to align the aircraft. If time permits, the pilot will carry out a reconnaissance, a dummy run, picking the safe way in and out to the landing or winching area. This exercise is also used to inspect the approach for obstructions or possible hazards, and to establish that the proposed transfer spot is a good site. An alternative site may be selected by the helicopter crew, especially during an emergency operation. The crew will also look out for loose objects which might be affected by the helicopter's downwash, and will request that these are removed or secured. Winching is carried out by a winch operator who will lower and raise a winchman to and from the ship. The winchman, wearing a harness, will first attach himself to the hook attached to a cable. Once the winchman leaves the aircraft, he will use hand signals to request the pilot and winch operator to position him as he approaches the stern of the ship. Static electricity generated by the helicopter must be earthed before the winchman makes contact with the vessel. A static line may be attached to the end of the winching hook, and this must contact the deck or the water surface to discharge the static current. When he reaches the deck, he disconnects from the cable and the helicopter will move away. Once on deck, the winchman is responsible for safety in the transfer area. The cable must never ever be connected to the vessel, as this poses a serious risk to the helicopter. Passengers may be lifted into a helicopter using either single or double lift strops. The strop is put behind the shoulders and under the arms, and may be secured with a small collar called a becket. You would not normally be expected to fit the strop yourself. This will usually be done for you by the winchman. Please remember that not all strops are fitted with a becket, so it is essential that you keep your arms down by your sides. Do not reach up to grasp the cable, or you risk slipping out of the strop. When you reach the aircraft, the crew will pull you in using the handle on the back of the strop. Do not attempt to maneuver yourself. Another winching technique involves the use of a high line to assist in the transfer of personnel or equipment to or from a vessel. This method is used when the helicopter cannot winch from the vertical because of the vessel's design, or during severe weather. Weights are attached to a nylon line to keep it vertical. The inboard end of the line is attached via a weak link to the winch hook. The weak link will break if the high line is snagged on the vessel or an obstruction. Small vessels, such as a yacht or fishing vessel, roll and pitch more than larger vessels. The masts of these vessels present a hazard to a helicopter. The captain will request the vessel to take up a heading. If in doubt, in all cases, stop and be a dead ship in the water. The helicopter will do the rest for you. The weighted high line is lowered to the deck. The helicopter then moves back. Now, equipment or personnel can be lowered on the winch cable, which is attached to this line. The vessel's crew take in the slack and then haul the incoming personnel on board. This may take 2 people. At no time attach the line or hook to any part of your vessel. On small vessels, you should switch off your navigational aids to avoid a possible static discharge. Remember that high-frequency microwave transmitters can pose a risk of burns to a descending winchman. A helicopter at close quarters, especially after a quiet spell at sea, can be very disorientating. It's big and noisy, and the downwash can be very powerful. This sudden change in environment and the arrival of the winchman can be an alarming experience. The winchman will attach himself to the person or article to be raised to the helicopter. The winchman will then ask the deck crew to control the swinging of the winch cable as the load is taken up and the cable moves out underneath the helicopter. Remember, the high line is nylon, so you should be wearing gloves to avoid rope burns. As the winchman demonstrates, when the operation is over, the line should be held out at arm's length to be taken in by the winch operator. Do not simply throw the high line overboard, as it may then snag on some part of the vessel. Once the winchman is safely on board, the high line will be recovered. Emergencies at sea can happen with terrifying suddenness. Fire, explosion, capsize. The speed of events is breathtaking and confusing. Over countless missions, helicopters have established themselves as a key component in successful rescue operations at sea. Search and rescue helicopters are fully equipped for medical evacuations, or medivacs. Their crews are trained in first aid, and some helicopters may carry a doctor. As well as the transfer and winching techniques already seen, a hypothermic lift may be used to recover a survivor who has been in the water for a long time. When someone is lifted vertically from the water after a long immersion, there is a rapid flow of blood away from the heart, sometimes with fatal consequences. To avoid this, a double-strop hypothermic lift harness will be used. One strop is passed under the shoulders and a second under the knees, and the lift is carried out horizontally. The US Coast Guard sometimes uses a different method. The winchman will be lowered with a basket, and the survivor or survivors will be raised in it to the helicopter. The survivors may be ordered to jump into the water first. Rescue from a life raft is similar to a small boat. In both cases, shipwrecked seafarers can assist the helicopter in several ways. Before you abandon ship, take the ship's emergency radio beacon, the EPIRB, with you. Its signals will be picked up by a satellite orbiting overhead and passed on to the search and rescue services. Search and rescue helicopters are equipped to receive the EPIRB's homing signal on 121.5 MHz. Deploy a sea anchor to slow the life raft's rate of drift and to keep its head into the sea. As the helicopter appears over the horizon, fire a smoke flare. When the helicopter arrives, try to collapse the raft's canopy so that the winchman can be lowered directly on board. Increasingly, passenger ferries and cruise ships are being equipped with marine evacuation systems that allow large numbers of people to be evacuated quickly into life rafts down slides or chutes. However, these systems may be affected by helicopter downwash, and aircraft operations may be limited while they're in use. Further information on the procedures and regulations governing helicopter operations at sea can be found in the booklet accompanying this video. Every day around the world, helicopters provide a speedy and reliable link between ships and offshore platforms and the coast. By knowing what to do when a helicopter arrives at your vessel or platform, you will play a valuable part in a unique and irreplaceable service to seafarers.
So, how was the video?
Good, sir.
Good, sir.
Okay. So we'll have a 5-minute break and then we'll come back for search survival at sea.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Or you want to continue?
Break, sir.
Okay, I'll put. I'm happy everybody is there. So please, everybody should come back. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Techniques. Remember, getting into a life raft or lifeboat really is a last resort. Always stay with the ship, unless there is no alternative. Certainly never jump into the sea, as you will have little chance of surviving alone in the water for long. If the master is forced to take the decision to abandon ship, it's vital that you are prepared. That's why the mandatory abandon ship drills are an essential part of life on board. You should know what your duties are and what to bring to your muster point, including life jacket, hard hat, and immersion suit. For detailed information on the survival equipment carried on your ship and instructions on how to use it, consult your ship's SOLAS training manual. This can normally be found on the bridge and in the engine control room and accommodation areas such as the mess and recreation room. At the point that you leave the ship, the distress signal should have been activated and the alarm will have been raised via satellite communications. Even so, it may take some time for help to reach you. This is where key survival techniques can make a big difference. The first thing to remember is that survival craft should get clear of the ship, but remain in the vicinity, if possible, to make it easier for rescuers to find them. Lifeboats will have motors to propel them. Life rafts may have to be paddled or towed by the lifeboat or other rescue craft carried by some ships. Drogues or sea anchors should be deployed. On a lifeboat, this will keep the bow into the weather. This minimizes rolling and should help to reduce drift. Survivors will stand a better chance of being rescued if they stay together. So tether the survival craft in a group. Next, prioritize the risks. First, drowning, then the inability to maintain body temperature, followed by lack of water, and, in the longer term, food. Your personal flotation device And your survival craft are your best defense against drowning. Leak detection should be undertaken regularly. And if any damage is found, it should be repaired immediately using the onboard maintenance kit. As well as keeping you afloat, your survival craft offers protection from exposure and hypothermia. Wind chill can quickly lower your body's temperature, and the onset of hypothermia can be very rapid. This is the state where your body cannot warm itself up anymore, and your core temperature can drop by 2 or 3 degrees. This will be enough to cause unconsciousness and subsequently death. Investigations into ship disasters show that the cold causes more deaths than drowning for casualties. So keeping yourself warm is vital. To assist in the conservation of body heat, life rafts and lifeboats carry thermal protection aids, TPAs. Using these reflective blankets will help an injured person obtain as much body warmth as possible. Being wet will drastically increase heat loss. So wet clothing should be wrung dry before being put on again. And if you have one, wear your immersion suit. It's also important to keep the inside of the survival craft as dry as possible by baling or using a sponge. Huddling together for warmth is a good idea if this does not upset the stability of the survival craft. In extreme cold, frostbite is another hazard and occurs when the flesh actually freezes. Survivors should look for signs in themselves and others. Outside lookouts could be particularly vulnerable, and they should be changed regularly. Wearing warm headgear will offer some protection. A certain amount of movement will help circulation. Frozen areas of skin can be warmed inside the clothing of another person, or with a warm hand. However, the return of circulation can cause severe pain, and painkillers may be needed. In hot climates, the threat of exposure from heat stroke and dehydration is just as dangerous as hypothermia and frostbite in cold conditions.
Tracy, would you open that hatch?
Protect yourself from overheating by wearing appropriate clothing and by creating ventilation if sea conditions permit. Don't wear an immersion suit or TPA. Deflating the life raft floor can increase cooling from the sea. Don't be tempted to go swimming. It's not an authorized procedure. In a fully loaded raft, the occupants could generate a large amount of carbon dioxide whilst breathing. So regular ventilation will be needed to prevent drowsiness and the other effects of partial asphyxiation. All evacuees must take anti-seasickness tablets within 24 hours. Vomiting leads to dehydration. Limit food to carbohydrate-heavy survival rations, unless water is plentiful. A well-nourished person can survive a month or more without food. To conserve vital supplies, no water should be drunk for the first 24 hours, as the body doesn't need it and will readjust its fluid balance to a minimum liquid requirement. The only exception to this rule will be survivors who are burned, have lost blood, or are losing fluids. The onboard water supplies should be supplemented by rainwater collected whenever possible. A clean sponge can be used to collect condensation. If collecting water runoff from the canopy, discard the first collection, as it may well be contaminated by sea salt or talcum powder used in the packing. After the first 24 hours, a daily water ration of half a litre should be issued. It should be divided into 3 parts, to be drunk slowly at sunrise, midday, and sunset. Holding the water in the mouth before swallowing will give maximum benefit from a limited water ration. There should be a total ban on alcohol and smoking in the survival craft. Alcohol causes dehydration and can increase motion sickness, all of which will put greater demands on the minimal water supplies. In the absence of medically trained personnel, you may find yourself caring for sick or injured survivors. Survival craft carry first aid kits, including a manual, to help you with basic welfare. As well as obvious signs such as bleeding, watch out for shock, a state of collapse that may occur after serious injury. Victims should be kept warm, laid flat, and, if conscious, given sips of water. Except for those with stomach injuries. Good leadership skills can transform a difficult situation by helping to keep people occupied and positive. Fear, boredom, and lethargy are a dangerous combination. And a good leader will organize the occupants to keep them busy and alert. Motivation is the key. Organize jobs for people, such as sponging the inside, or lookouts and fishing. It's especially helpful for those who are in a nervous state or display signs of panic. In passenger ship emergencies, people who are not used to the sea are even more likely to need reassurance and support in a crisis. On a survival craft, watches will be arranged to cover 24 hours a day. The inside watchkeeper should attend to injured evacuees, checking their injuries and making them as comfortable as possible. They should also be looking out for signs of hypothermia and carbon dioxide buildup, as well as checking on the state of the survival craft. The outside watchkeeper should be alert for rescue ships, aircraft, or any other survivors. Outside watches should be kept brief to prevent exposure. that can help to pinpoint your location. They all have different roles to play in getting you located. The EPIRB, or Emergency Position Indicating Radio Beacon, uses satellites to relay vital information to the nearest Rescue Coordination Center. The rescue services will then alert ships in your area. EPIRBs are activated automatically on immersion in water or manually. The SART, Search and Rescue Radar Transponder, can help rescuers to find your location and must be switched on in the survival craft. It should be rigged at least 1 meter above sea level. The SART transmits a signal that can be picked up by another ship's radar, but will only do so whilst the battery has capacity. However, a SART only works on one radar frequency, 9 GHz. And sometimes a radar reflector may be more useful in attracting an approaching helicopter. You should not use both SART and reflector, as the radar reflector will interfere with the SART. A VHF radio on channel 16 can be used to call passing ships up to approximately 3 nautical miles away. The range is limited by your height above the water. Be careful to conserve batteries. Consider the likelihood of traffic in the vicinity. Are you in a busy shipping lane or not? Pyrotechnics will be wasted if used before potential rescuers are within sight. The instructions are printed on their body. Read them carefully. Use parachute flares when a ship is sighted at night. Smoke canisters are for ships and aircraft in daytime, and hand flares for short-range signaling. All of which will help indicate your position, as long as someone is within range to see you. Life rafts and lifeboats come equipped with a heliograph, a mirror that reflects sunlight. It sounds simple, but it can be extremely effective and can be seen up to 5 miles away. Waiting for rescue in a survival craft may be uncomfortable, but you'll have a much better chance than someone who finds themselves in a much more life-threatening situation, alone in the water. As well as the obvious danger of drowning, there is a very high risk of hypothermia. When you enter the water, you are likely to suffer cold shock, rapid breathing, with an increased heart rate. At this point, stay as still as possible until the shock has passed. When your system has stabilized, maintain your body heat by tightening up the neck, ankle, and wrist fastening on your clothing. Don't bother to kick off your boots or shoes, as they will provide insulation. Activate your life jacket light if it is not automatic. If the sea is rough, try to keep your back to the wind and waves to keep your mouth and nose clear of spray. A collar, or better still, a head covering, will protect your head and neck, which are the areas most prone to heat loss. The more you move, the more you will use energy, and encourage the cold water into your clothing. Try to keep calm and swim as little as possible. Hold your legs together with your knees drawn up to your chest. Only swim to reach a nearby craft, floating object, or survivor. If you find yourself in this position, an immersion suit will help to considerably reduce the risk of suffering and death. If there are other survivors in the water, keep close together. It will make it easier for rescuers to spot you. Once again, maintaining good morale and a positive attitude are key factors in increasing your survival chances. Helicopters often play an important role in rescues at sea. They offer the critical advantage of speed, whether it's locating a casualty, rescuing them from the water, or getting them to expert medical help. Most search and rescue helicopters also have a medic or trained crew on board who can start treatment in the air while keeping the hospital or recovery ship informed of the patient's condition. But helicopters do have their limitations. They can only carry a limited number of people, which sometimes creates tough decisions for survivors. Who will be picked up first? And who will have to wait for the next run? Helicopters are also constrained by their fuel consumption that will limit range and flying time. A rescue vessel will be able to spend much longer at the rescue scene. Not every helicopter is able to rescue you. A lot of aircraft may be involved in a search, but only aircraft may be tasked to search when a rescue coordination center receives your EPIRB distress alert. Once you hear or see the aircraft, smoke signals or hand flares can help them see you, either visually or using infrared sensors. Do not fire parachute flares when aircraft are around. A smoke float will help the pilot in judging the surface wind speed and direction, so that an approach can be made avoiding any downward from the rotor blades.
And steady, contact, steady.
When it comes to the moment of recovery, let the winch operator tell you what to do.
These life jackets, you put them on like a waistcoat, okay?
Don't struggle.
And there's a groin strap which comes through, clips on.
You will need to follow instructions, and above all, stay calm. This will mean a faster, safer rescue.
And steady, hooked on, winching in. And they're both free from the raft.
Because helicopters build up static electricity, You can get a nasty electric shock if you try to grab a line from the helicopter. Always down on the ship or sea before you.
And steady. Steady. Steady.
If the rescue involves someone being lifted from the ship, then it will depend on good communication between the pilot, the bridge, and the deck crew. It may be difficult for deck crew to hear during the operation, so they need to be fully briefed beforehand. The pilot will usually want to communicate only with the winch operator during the airlift.
There's 80 feet, you should be able to get a high line off.
Yeah, I should do it 80 feet, yeah. Just a straight run towards it.
And will only talk to the ship in case of emergency. If preparing for a helicopter rescue, make sure the landing area is clear of people and any objects that might be affected by the downdraft. Loose objects need to be stowed or lashed down. At night, good floodlighting will help. If your ship still has power, use it. A fire crew wearing helmets with chin straps should be on scene. Some companies also require the rescue boat to be made ready before helicopter operations. Sometimes the helicopter crew may use a high line.
We can afford to do it considerably higher with the high line, can't we?
So that the aircraft can hover to one side of the ship.
Just getting the high line ready.
And the winchman can access the deck from this offset position. This lessens the chance of the helicopter touching any part of the ship, or the risk of the downdraft blowing crew over.
That's good.
A high line may also be rigged to allow more people to be lifted in a shorter time during a mass evacuation emergency. Casualties will usually be lifted in pairs on 2 separate strops. There are various types of equipment used for helicopter recovery, depending on which country's rescue services arrive first, including rescue seats, nets, and baskets. You will find more information in your ship's SOLAS training manual. One of the most commonly used devices is the rescue sling, or strop, which is put over the head before being fitted around the back and under both armpits. A ring pulled towards you tightens the strop.
Okay, it's right, turn and slightly forward, Kev, winching out.
When you are being lifted, keep your arms by your sides and do not hold the strop. If the person being airlifted is injured, a winchman will descend with specially designed equipment, such as a lifting stretcher.
10 feet, just above the deck.
It's important that everyone is ready to go at the evacuation zone, and that no one attempts to take any kind of baggage with them. However you are lifted, always obey the instructions of the helicopter crew. Once you are safely inside the aircraft, step out of the strop, as lifting it over your head is difficult in the confined space. The results of research into survival situations are clear. Surviving a life-threatening situation isn't just down to luck. It's down to the right preparation and the right mental attitude. The work you put in now, learning about your ship's emergency procedures and equipment, survival techniques, really can save your life and those of others around you. If you think like a survivor, the chances are you will be.
At the doorway, turning him round, and bringing him in forward. That was just brilliant. Job done.
Watch all the relevant parts of this series and consult the workbook and your training manuals after you've done so. If you wait until there is an emergency, it could be too late. Take every opportunity to participate positively in all training courses and onboard drills or exercises.
We will start the test and I will show you the question and then I'll name somebody, he should answer that question, right? If somebody else wants to answer, he will raise his hand. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Vishnu P. Vishnu P.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, answer. Everybody please read.
Sir, to check outside the temperature.
Wrong. Heliograph, something to do with the sun. Helio is sun.
As a first aid burn dressing.
Wrong.
Sir, D part.
Sir, as a means of signaling by reflecting the light of the sun.
Correct. So the
Yes, sir, D
heliograph
option.
is a sort of metal device, okay, and it reflects the sunlight. It is used for signaling, okay.
Okay, sir.
Next, Baba Rahim. Baba Rahim.
Yes, sir.
Yes, answer this question. It was shown in the video, and also it is clearly given how much water should be given to each person every day after 24 hours.
So,
Sir, half
1.5.
liter per day, sir.
Okay.
Half liter.
Yes, sir, 0.5.
Okay. Vanch K.
Sir.
Vanch K.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, smoke float or hand flare.
Smoke float, not hand flare. Smoke float.
Yes, sir. Smoke
Hand
float.
flare is used. Smoke float will give out a lot of smoke.
Yes,
so by
sir.
seeing the direction of the smoke, he will get indicated of the wind speed and direction. Okay. Yes. GME 19. GME 19. I don't know the name. Name is not showing. GME 19. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Tell me the answer. What is the name GME 19?
Sir, Nilanjan Jana.
Huh?
Sir, Nilanjan Jana.
Nilanjan. Okay. Nilanjan, answer this question. See the
Sir, by deflating the aircraft.
life raft bottom is double-sided. So for conserving the heat, you inflate it so that it gets warm inside. But when the seawater is cool, you deflate it, and then it will get cooled by the seawater. Okay. Other things are not to be done. Okay. Yes, GME 22. G.
So it's B. They should be kept warm, late flat, and if conscious, give frequency of water, except for those with stomach injury.
Which one?
B. Second one.
If you are reading, I won't be able to understand what you are reading. Which one? First one, second one, third one, fourth one.
Second one.
Shock is a state of collapse which may occur after any serious injury. How would the victim be treated? Okay. Very good.
Yes, sir.
Next.
Sir, 24 hours, sir.
24 hours. Okay.
Sir, parachute flare. Parachute flare.
Parachute flare. Okay. When launching a rescue boat, what should the ship speed be?
No more than.
Rishabh Kopre.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The third one.
Okay, we'll put that. Let's see. Yes. This is for GME 14. GME 14.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, come on. It's common sense. False. Immersion suits are very bulky and they will occupy a lot of space. You might have difficulty entering inside the lifeboat. Okay. So they should only be put on when entering the water, not when entering the lifeboat. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes. Lookout watches to be kept. Yes. Vansh K. Vansh K.
Yes, sir.
Yes. When should lookout watches be kept?
Sir, 24 hours a day.
24 hours a day. Very good. Why lookout has to be kept? Yes, somebody raise hand.
To see surveys nearby or to see ships nearby.
Yes, if you see any ship or something, it will be missed. No, if everybody is sleeping inside.
Yes.
So turn by turn, everybody should keep a lookout, so that lookout is always kept, so that if any ship is passing by or aircraft is passing by, you can be alerted, and maybe you can fire a rocket or you can fire a hand flare. Correct?
Yes, sir.
What is the function of the inside watchman on board an inflated raft?
Sir, to check on injured personnel and state the surveillance craft.
Yes, sir.
Check the
Option D,
injured
sir.
personnel and the state of the survival craft. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Tanmay.
Yes, sir.
Sir, can I?
Yes.
Sir, A option.
This will be okay, but too much of movement will waste energy. Okay?
So C.
Take out your shoes. Never take out your shoes and boots, because that will cause hypothermia fast. Find an object to climb onto. Yes, if you find any floating object, you can climb onto it. Okay? So let's mark that. Let's see. This should be easy.
Sir, SART.
SART, okay. What is the minimum number of crew required in a rescue boat?
Minimum 2.
3, I think. Let's mark 3. Let's see. There are 4 main dangers faced by evacuees in survival craft. Which item does not belong in this list?
Inability to sleep.
Yes, sir.
Inability.
Last one, inability to.
What is the normal method of winching a single uninjured person into a helicopter? Rescue hook or strap? Okay.
D, sir. Yes, sir. D option.
No, lifting stretcher is used for injured person. A basket is also used for a person who is invalid, or a baby, or somebody incapable of wearing the strap himself. And highline is used for rescuing more than one person and all those things. So a rescue strap is normally used. Strap. You just wear it over your head. You just pull it back and then you lift it up. Okay. When would fire pyrotechnics after launching the lifeboats and life rafts? Yes, 25. James. GME 25.
Yes, sir.
What is the answer?
Option B.
Option D.
Second one.
No, option B. Bravo, bravo.
Bravo, sir.
Yes. Last one. EPUB. EPUB is a device, it's communicating with the satellites. So it will send a lot of information about you, how many people were there on the ship, how many, what is the nationality, what is the ship's name, all those things will be transmitted. Okay? And the vessel's unique serial number will also be transmitted. Two questions, two answers were wrong. Okay? So got 89%. Correct. 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 Let's see the wrong one. This is wrong. Okay.
So 3 to 4 days.
Three to 4 days is correct. Then correct. Incorrect. I think somebody told 5 knots. Correct answer. 5 knots. Okay. Right. So all the rest were correct. Anyway, good response. Okay. Right. So you know your survival now, and also you know the use of helicopter on search and rescue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.